So, Paige Bueckers' debut, man. It wasn't that good, not gonna lie, not that good.
For each other, and that's our connection. And we're so connected that way, and that doesn't mean it's great all the time. We have hard conversations, we have tears, we have disagreements. That's actually normal in a relationship, isn't it? Like, it's normal to have disagreements. It's normal to be frustrated with each other. It's normal, like, that's a part of it. Conflict's a part of it. And so we work through it together, and we're willing to sit in.
So Caitlin Clark just stepped back into Team USA's training facility after being away from competitive basketball for 5 solid months, and what went down next has the entire basketball world buzzing. Following a brutal stretch of injuries that had people wondering if she'd lost a step, Clark walked in and absolutely demolished any doubts about her abilities. And while all this was happening, Paige Bueckers basically became background noise in Clark's incredible return story.
Clark is going against Paige and Dejanay. ESPN today, when they were talking about Paige, one of them says, I think Paige will be a good player this year, but I'm not expecting a Caitlin-like impact, and that's an unfair bar to set. Dallas Wings using the promo poster of Paige.
Let's back up, because this comeback story hits different when you understand what led to it. Clark's rookie WNBA season was absolutely legendary. She shattered 62 different league records, pulled off multiple triple-doubles, and was hitting shots from distances that made veteran defenders question everything they knew about basketball. She basically flipped the entire league on its head with her insane talent. But then year 2 arrived and everything collapsed. Injuries started piling up one after another in this nightmare cycle. Clark explained the brutal reality when she said the challenge was dealing with one issue that seemed to improve slightly before getting worse and triggering new problems. This record-breaking phenom could barely get on the court. 13 games. That's all she managed in her second season after rewriting history books as a rookie. Whispers started spreading through basketball circles about whether this was her peak, if the injuries would keep coming, if that magical first year was just lightning in a bottle. When Clark entered that Team USA facility, she hadn't touched a basketball competitively in 5 months.
Every single point being scored or assisted by Caitlin Clark in a 4.5-minute spell to make a game, to go from down 5 to up 13. Like that, well, basically it was down 15 to up 10 against Phoenix Mercury last year, where every single basket other than one was either scored or assisted by Caitlin Clark in what was the craziest game of her career. Where it's funny, if you look back on that game, I think she had 15 points and 13 assists and on 4 of 15 shooting, and people were just like, oh, this was a terrible game.
The pressure was absolutely crushing. This wasn't some casual scrimmage session. This was her audition for representing her country in the 2026 World Cup and 2028 Olympics in Los Angeles. Every coach, analyst, and camera lens was locked on her first movement. Would she still have that explosiveness that made her famous? Would 5 months of rust show immediately? Clark later admitted feeling those pre-practice nerves, but said everything clicked the moment she started her warm-up routine. Comfortable doesn't come close to describing what happened once the real action started. Clark announced she was completely healthy again and then spent the next few days proving it in the most dominant fashion imaginable. Her shots were falling with that crisp sound everyone remembered. Her passes were finding teammates like she had built-in radar. Her court awareness looked even sharper than before the injury nightmare began. She controlled the pace exactly like vintage Clark, setting up fast breaks and positioning teammates perfectly. The player who put up 16.5 points with nearly 9 assists in those 13 healthy games looked absolutely dialed in.
Player needs it. That's another level of facilitating. That's why we say, man, Caitlin Clark is the top guard, man. All right, y'all start the conversation in the chat, but I'm just saying, Chelsea Gray is a very entertaining passer. All right, very entertaining. Sometimes her flashiness kind of make her throw the ball away and things of that nature, but Caitlin Clark knows how to get that thing in tough spots. All right, get it in tough spots and get her teammates open, get it to where the teammate can catch the ball and just pull it in a comfortable style. All that is a part of facilitating, man. All right, so
Now here's where things get really interesting. The connection between Clark and Aaliyah Boston was immediately obvious to everyone watching. These two had this moment during practice that made Sue Bird and the entire coaching staff realize they were witnessing something extraordinary. Clark delivered a pass to Boston that seemed to bend the laws of physics, arriving exactly when and where Boston needed it. Boston converted the play with a huge smile. Clark grinned back, and everyone knew they were seeing elite-level chemistry in action. Building that kind of connection usually takes months in team settings. Most guards need extensive time to learn their teammates' tendencies and timing preferences, but Clark and Boston already had that foundation from their season together in Indiana. They'd spent countless hours learning each other's movements and creating scoring opportunities together. Within minutes of practice starting, their connection became obvious to coaches. Clark would secure defensive rebounds and immediately survey the floor for Boston sprinting ahead. Boston would establish post position, and Clark would deliver passes through tight windows that other guards couldn't even attempt. The timing was flawless, the execution was beautiful, and Boston knew exactly where Clark's feeds would arrive, while Clark knew precisely where Boston wanted the ball.
That all the players play well, but France are just a little bit better in the World Cup. I'm not going to hate watch Team USA, but I do hope that the other teams they're playing are just better. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, if you are actually supporting Team USA, you would hope the two of them play together, because the two of Paige and Caitlin play together, because that's what's going to help them win. And is Caitlin going to be the best player at this camp? If Caitlin's the best player at this camp, there's something seriously wrong with the level of women's basketball. Like, if a player who has basically been injured for a year shows up and is the best player at their first training camp, because let's be real, you're not going to, it takes players weeks, if not months.
The way Clark controlled tempo changes was even more spectacular. She'd grab rebounds and instantly accelerate the pace, creating transition opportunities before defenses could get organized. Boston would sprint the floor hard because she knew Clark would reward that effort with easy scoring chances. Other players started following their example, running harder because they understood Clark would find them if they got open. Clark's playmaking didn't just elevate Boston's performance, it raised everyone's level. She found Jackie Young cutting perfectly for layups that had coaches nodding in approval. The chemistry Clark was building with Young suggested a backcourt partnership that could anchor Team USA for years. One analyst captured what everyone was thinking about Clark and Young's potential. They're going to be incredible playing together in Team USA uniforms for years to come. Young can do everything on the court and would absolutely flourish alongside someone like Clark. The positive energy between Clark and Boston spread throughout the entire practice. They were genuinely enjoying playing together again, and that comfort translated into confidence that infected their teammates. Other players started making sharper cuts and setting better screens because they trusted Clark to reward good movement with accurate passes.
Most of us want adversity to go really quickly, like, okay, it'll be tough for a half a day and then we're done. And this has been tough for longer for us. Good. Because this is what life is about. Like, you don't get to control the length of your adversity. All you get to do is control your attitude and your focus and just work like heck to try and change it. And
everyone expected fierce competition for limited roster spots on the 2026 World Cup team. The battle was supposed to be extremely close with difficult decisions for coaches. Angel Reese emphasized how meaningful making the team was for everyone there, saying they were hand-picked because coaches believed they could contribute something special. Clark understood the competitive stakes perfectly, acknowledging that everyone was fighting for their spot, but her performance made that fight look completely one-sided. Analysts were calling Clark on fire during practice sessions, and that description captured exactly what was happening. Her three-pointers were falling consistently from incredible distances. Her vision was creating scoring opportunities that other players couldn't see developing. Every decision she made under pressure was the correct one. Clark's unique skills separated her immediately from everyone else. She was drilling threes from NBA range with defenders closing out aggressively. Her court vision allowed passes through traffic that resulted in easy teammate baskets. Whether to pass or shoot, push pace or run sets, Clark read every situation perfectly. While other players focused on showcasing individual abilities, Clark took the opposite approach and made everyone around her better. When teammates made quality cuts, Clark rewarded them with perfect passes. When they set solid screens, Clark found ways to get them scoring opportunity. Her team-first approach stood out in an environment where most players needed to prove individual worth. So where does this leave someone like Paige Bueckers? Bueckers wasn't even at this camp, but Clark's performance basically answered every question about who's leading the next generation of USA basketball. Bueckers is still working through her own injury concerns and trying to establish herself, while Clark just walked in after 5 months off and reminded everyone about the levels that exist in this game. The projected rating lineup has people genuinely excited about what's possible. Clark running point, Jackie Young at the 2, Kalia Copper at the 3, Dareka Hamby at the 4, and Boston at center. That's a lineup capable of competing with anyone globally, and it's built around Clark's ability to elevate everyone's performance. Clark's return to Team USA after 5 months away reminded everyone why she's the future of basketball. Paige Bueckers and everyone else competing for roster spots just received a reality check about who's controlling this situation.